Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It's been a long time and I hope my audio sounds okay. The one that I normally use is not working, so I'm having to improvise, so hopefully it's okay for you. I am sharing a video that I filmed a couple months ago and then I just stopped. So I'm sorry about that. The burnout hit me pretty hard and I wasn't super happy with this painting, and it's been a couple months and I feel the same way. But I wanted to share this landscape anyway because there might be something you can take away from it. And yeah, hopefully you don't judge me too hard, but sometimes, you should share all your work, even the bad. And here I am sharing it in a video. So, but all is well. I am using a block in this painting, and it's just a square, as you can see, and I am using the wet on wet technique where I wet the entire paper before applying some paint. Now, I'm not going to share the colors that I use because the colors just did not work out for me, and the shades were different, and it just wasn't great. So, I'm just using a yellow here and blending it out, and then I'm mixing in a red or a pinkish red, and then I end up adding some blue, and they all blend together, and it's quite beautiful. And these layers were okay. It was the land layers that ended up not working out because I filmed this video really early in the morning and I was using a softbox, but I think I need a different lighting setup to help the softbox because there were lots of shadows and I was not getting my colors correct. So yeah, and I need to figure that out because that's when I have the best time to film, is the early hours of the morning. So I need to figure that out. But for now, here's a video that I did a couple months ago. I'm not super happy with it, but that's kind of how it goes. But when you do use the wet on wet technique and you want to create a very blended, beautiful sky, it's a great way to do that. So, and you can make the clouds really large and thick towards the top of the paper, and as they get to wherever your horizon line is going to be, you can make those strokes smaller to emphasize distance, but really it's up to you. I had in mind to create this lake, a bit of a rocky lake. There's lots of rocks in this scene. I'm just using a darker blue. This probably was Payne's gray. And I am just dropping in the color while the paper is still wet. You can see that the sky is already moving downward. I believe, I can't tell, but I may have had it propped up on something to make the paint pull down. And now I am just using the tip of my brush to create these squiggly lines for trees and making the trees a bit bigger towards the edge of the paper to again emphasize distance and that those trees are a bit closer to us. And again, sorry for the shadows. And you might hear my cat in the video because she wants attention. So here's where I started to add the same color from the trees into that water, and I don't like it, but it's fine. I think there's a bit of green on my brush. I have no idea, but here's a video on what not to do. But the point of what I'm doing right now, just to emphasize the techniques, is I'm adding in more paint because I'm going to scratch away some rocks. I also wanted to make sure I removed a little bit of the paint to create that horizon and some definition between the trees and the water and land. But the paint was still quite wet, so it kind of bled back into those lines. So not a big deal, you can go back and remove them again. I added darker blue here because I realized that the color was completely off. It didn't seem like it was off when I was painting, but when I looked at the video, yeah, it was definitely off. And you can see that the balance of color between the sky and the land, there's just something not quite right about it. But as far as like the painting overall, I think it was all right. And here you can see this is where I'm creating the rocks, and because that paint is still quite wet and damp, not soaking, right? Because if I tried to scrape away, then the paint would pull back into those areas. But just where it's damp, that I feel is the important part here. And I'm just taking the side of my brush and scraping it downwards, creating lots of rocks. And I went overboard here because I love doing this so much. But you do have to be mindful of how many rocks you do. So I'm not really sure what my plan was. I think I just wanted to do a lot to really show how cool it is for the video. I don't know. Do as many as you want. It's your painting. But I did go ahead and create all kinds of rocks, and you can see that there is light reflection in the water. And it's a really fun way to create texture and almost like a 3D effect in your paintings if, say, perspective is challenging for you or composition. The trick, of course, is to add lots of paint and to make sure that it gets to that damp stage, and then you're able to scrape away. And that's the same if you wanted to create like a trunk of trees where you scrape upwards to create some lines. Same rules apply there. But how have you all have been? Are you getting ready for summer? I feel like it's around the corner here. Maybe you're in Australia and that is so far away from you. But yeah, let me know. What are your plans? What have you been up to? What have you been painting? Is there anything you're interested in painting? I definitely have some things that I was intending to share a couple months ago, so those have been put on the back burner, but I'm going to bring those into future videos, like some waterfalls and of course some springtime moody scenes. Yeah, summer is not too far, so maybe some floral wildflower fields. I doubt I'll ever share a video on flowers, but definitely incorporating some flowers into my landscapes for sure. Yeah, I'm not very good at painting flowers, so yeah, let me know in the comments below what you've been up to. I am now taking some of that bleed-proof white and creating some lines to emphasize maybe the water's hitting the rocks. And of course you saw that I did the trees there. I have so many videos on how to do trees, so if this is your first video, be sure to check out my other videos where the colors actually match and where you can learn how to do different types of trees. But that's pretty much, kind of all I've done with this painting. I did decide to do some splatters and I made a mess. So here's me cleaning it up. And of course there's a cat hair on my table, always. And I need to make it look presentable again. Anyway, I thought I'd include this real footage, real time. And that's it. There are lots of things I like about the painting. I enjoy the composition. I do like the trees. The colors are off between the sky and the land, but it's all good. And of course, I'm using Arches watercolor paper. The description will have all of the materials. I think I'm going to leave the paints out just because I don't remember what I use, but as far as brushes, absolutely. Be sure to check those out. But thank you so much for being here and being patient with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. All right, my friends, take care. Bye.